Alright, let's begin the recording here. So, this should be all good. Alright. And there's the stream. What's up, guys? Weewoo here. So, today we're starting a OFCRA operation. It is going to be the start of a new campaign that they're going to be going with in Mozambique. So, Blue 4 are going to be French, and Op4 are going to be Mozambique Irregulars. We have over 115 players on the server today. So almost as big as an FNF match, but I'll be curious to see how this goes because the AO is actually fairly small, similar to like an FNF size compared to OFCRA, so we'll see how things are going. But we've got multiple different defensive objectives. Op4 is going to be on defense, Blue 4 is going to be on offense here, and I have on my other monitor the objectives of what we're going to be going for today. So, Blue 4's objectives are to download the data from the radar control computer, which is at this position. That's worth 2 points, and they only have the first hour of the hour-and-a-half round to do it. They must also eliminate the tribal chief, who is located in this building in the town of Harati. And there's also the supremacy bonus, which is worth 2 points to either side. Tribal Chief, killing him is worth 3 points. Op4 defending him is worth 3 points as well. If Op4 defends the data from being downloaded at the radar station, that is worth 2 points in that first hour. And then the neutral objective of the radar base itself, this purple zone, is also worth 3 points. So this is technically worth 5 points if we're including the downloading of the data, and then the tribal chief up there is worth 3 points, and then the supremacy bonus is worth 2. So total amount of points a team can win would be 10, with 3, 3, 2, and 2. But we'll just have to see how things go out. In terms of vehicle assets, if I were to quickly scroll down, I don't see anything specific. Other than we've got a few different static machine guns, as well as some motorbikes, some BRDMs, some VBMRs, which I'm actually not familiar with. Probably some sort of armored car or technical or something. Op4 appears to also have an MTLB. Multiple MTLBs. And a BDRM2 Conquers. I'm not sure. I don't think that's the AT version. But we'll see how things go. Definitely every group has a vehicle to work with, so this is going to be a heavy mobilization style operation. Also, because someone just asked, the supremacy bonus between Blue 4 and Op 4. So if Blue 4 gets knocked down to 5 or less people, Op 4 gets 2 points. And if Op 4 gets knocked down to 5 or less people, Blue 4 gets 2 points. That's what it means. So overall, it looks like the weaponry on the Op4 side is going to mainly be AKMs. Blue 4 is going to be FAMASs. We're doing FRF2 marksman rifles for the French, whereas Op4 gets SVDs. Again, Blue 4 is French forces, Op4 is Mozambique forces. And this is going to be the start of a new campaign overall that OFCRA is going to run. So usually they run their campaign mission bi-weekly, and then to fill in the gaps weekly, they have other missions to run. Maybe another mini campaign or some one-offs. It depends on what the mission makers do. Blue 4 for AT also seems to have AT4s, and Op4 has RPGs. I can't see if there's any dedicated reloadable AT on the Blue 4 side. They might. ERYX is apparently what they have. I'm actually unfamiliar with a lot of French weaponry, so I know Op4 have RPG-7s and RPKs, Blue 4 getting FN mags and mini-me's. So I'd imagine Op4 is also going to have some PKMs in the mix, but I'm looking at the roster here on the other tab. I'm only seeing RPKs, so interesting. I do see a few Lee Enfields also on the Op4 side under a spotter role. Looks like Blue 4, some of their squad leaders also getting 416s as well. But beyond that, no, okay, Mark 17s, which I believe are Scars. Interesting, but we'll see how everything goes once we actually get booted in. But this will be a really interesting round because this is, I think, some of the most... Let me tab out and look at TeamSpeak real quick. How many people do we have on the roster? 126. So this is actually going to be the biggest OFCRA round we have ever seen. If it's 126, this would technically also be bigger than Friday Night Fights, because on average, the cap they have is 124. The only time we saw more than 124 players on Friday Night Fights was before they put the 124 lockout, but it was 50-50. The round would go haywire because the numbers were just way too much for the server to handle. But OFCRA, they have a very powerful server to handle something like this, and that's, I mean, that's exciting. 126 people in a PvP match here, so I'm glad to see OFCRA's numbers steadily rising. But we'll just have to see how the rest of this round goes. But 126 players per side here, that's going to be... Wow. I mean, I was already commenting that the size of this AO was, you know, a little smaller than what we normally see in OFCRA rounds, but 126. Good God, that's that's like 60 v 60. This is going to be cool. All right. I'm excited for it. So finish up your bets, guys, because this is going to be a fairly interesting round. One more minute till we get pushed into the safe start time, which I assume is going to only be a few minutes. Usually we don't see it go past 5 minutes, but we'll see. I think the highest I've seen with an OFCR recently is 8 minutes. Ooh, man. Trying to think what else. I mean, this is all open territory. We've seen a few Friday Night Fights rounds where the attacking faction, when the defenders were defending the airfield, for example, they kind of went around the northern side and looped back. This is all open back here, but with the objectives around here, I mean, this is a really nice little hill here to work with. So I'd imagine OPFOR is probably going to just heavily defend both of these areas, but splitting down the line 30 players each. And then, you know, the attackers get a full 60 to work with, give or take. I guess the caveat is going to be all of these open fields that are going to be really nice kill zones for the defenders to utilize. But we'll see what they also get in terms of vehicle support. We'll see if Blue 4 get any advantages here on top of that. But this should be a very interesting round. I'm excited. It's rare when you get to see numbers as high as these, at least for me. So, yeah, so they're saying they're 124 tonight officially. So that means there's 1 or 2 people trickling in on the TeamSpeak.
Oh.
All right, 8-minute warm-up. And then you hear everyone transferring that T4 channel. There we go. All right, so that's initialized. Again, OFCRA is a multilingual community hub. It's French-based, but there's a lot of English, Germans, French, Czechs, Polish, you name it. So this is a lot of players right here, and it looks like they have a mix of some special forces and a lot of general infantry and woodland kits. But this is probably that EYWX I talked about earlier, so it's a guided missile system. But we see FN mags in play, FAMASs, as I was talking about. These are those FN whatevers, the marksman rifles. Then you got the AT-4s as well, the mini-me's. I could have sworn that was a drone backpack, but that's just a different backpack. All right. You got some laws there. I think we have some American kits here. We see some 416s. There's the Scar 17. And otherwise, those are all the FAMASs there. So let's go ahead and look at the vehicle counts here. You know, something's wrong here. I'm getting the feeling there's a little bit of an error here. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's not how guns work. See, what I'm curious about is why are these 3 shooting, but why is this one normal? You know what I mean? Zicky jumping in. Weird call there. But all right, so we have 4 Crow system M2s. So right off the bat, oh wait, oh my God, there's more of them. Holy shit, they're all... How many Blue 4 Crow systems are there? Wow. So I don't know if this means that they drained all the ammo for them, or because one of them's not doing it. But I mean, these are all M2 Crow systems. You got some attack cars here with some scoped 240 Bravos. The scopes are really important because we've seen in the past when OFCRA brings in scopes, they get a lot more deadly and accurate with them, so that's good to see. And then we have only a hollow sight M2 here for another car, but it also has the scope 240. Well, that's a FN Mac technically, but both fire 7.62. And then they also have some AT in the back right here ready to go. So that is a lot to work with, but that's a really powerful breakdown. Then we also have a Vanillas shielded M2 down there. I don't really see anything else. I'll get to roster at the end, by the way, guys. 5 minutes, all right. But that's a lot. Like, that's a lot to work with. I'm a little curious to see what OFCRA has in store. So we have multiple MTLBs. We have a sit-down NSV static. We have 3 Dishka cars, and we have an AT BRDM, the Cormant version, or the Conrad or whatever. Very powerful weapon there. Otherwise, a lot of people dropping their turbines here for either, I guess, dedicated helmets. But we have a lot of RPGs. We have some scoped AKs, some RPKs with drum mags. Some SVDs as well.
I got one of them thing. GPS.
And I'm seeing some AKs with GP25 systems. But yeah, no PKMs. That is... Oh, we got some suppressed guys as well, some German helmets. So I guess this is their version of the Special Forces team. But in terms of vehicle advantage, I'd say Blue 4 has it, but that makes sense because OFCRA is being the defenders here. So with those Crow systems, I feel like Blue 4 is going to be able to easily pick people off. Man, Falcon with a Crow system, though, that would be beautiful to see him pick people off in this server. Otherwise, let's go ahead and look at the roster. So commanding Blue 4, we have Lolo commanding. Different from the TSB Lolo and the one we see in FNF. He has an extra L in his name. One of the veteran commanders we see in OFCRA here. Otherwise, his 2IC is Always, who I haven't seen a lot of, but we have the CSF group here under Alpha, Coach, Lucas, Matt, Bat, Had, Fox, Diego, and Gigam. Ilbanek leading Bravo with Fury, TK Llama, Joda, Mafo, Brewer, and Ziki. Ziki, I would argue, is... How do I word this? He is, in my opinion, the best player in terms of PvP with OFCRA. Recently, I haven't seen much from him, but in the past, he's done really, really well. So we'll see if he's able to continue it. But a lot of these names are really good. Joda's really good. TK Llama, Ilbanek. Haven't seen a lot of CSF. Lolo's pretty good. But just note, in FNF, I do call out a few people saying they're really good. I would argue in OFCRA, the quality of player is much higher. In the sense that if one of these players gets into an advantageous position and they have the right gear for it, they will exceed. Whereas if I see it in FNF, I don't always see the skill level of players doing something where they're in the optimal situation to get something crazy done. Otherwise, continuing, Kilo is with Charlie leading. He's got Smiths and Cheeseburger. Cheeseburger pretty good. FAWR under Delta, Nannard, Vlad, Kevsko, Tizo, Baku, Hubert, Ethan, Edwards, and Oliver. We got Aki leading Stud, Manu, Ragu, Beta, and Solid. Sorry if I'm butchering anyone's names. Adamek leading Val, Maddie, Mishius, Montana, Kratz. I was looking at that. 2 minutes remaining. Kuwait, Damix, and Settler. I don't think I'm going to get through everyone's name in 2 minutes, but I'll try my best. Ray6 leading Lux, Sipo, Nico, Wonder, Reverendo, Misano, and Andre leading Dennis, Who's Who, Kelby, Devil Hero, Nauri, and Zephyr. And Ricky Sav leading Karaoke, Alex, Kutri, Trick Track, Red Crow, and Lacid. The reason I'm slower with these names is a lot of them are brand new to me. So like in FNF, I'm able to like rapid fire these names because I'm like, oh, I notice all these people. But a lot of these names, especially with OFCRA, I mean, going from like what, 70 to 80 players, now they're up to like 120. They might be 130 next week. I mean, that's amazing. Otherwise, OPFOR, led by another veteran commander, we have Bluck with no 2IC. So we'll see what Bluck's defensive solution is. 1 minute remaining. Rixu leading Kropka, that's it. Bartik, Fonter, and Lesiak. Mr. White leading Razka, Zardik, Masquerade, Manshot, who is the head honcho for OFCRA, Tackle, who's also pretty good, and Daedalus, who's also pretty good. So yeah, OFCRA community guys that run this event. Dymus leading Xanary, Grubby, Nico, Suchodolski. Suchodolski. Okay. Robert, Kalutki, and I don't know. SZ. Termoic. I'm going to go with that. It's my final answer. And Kalisi. Callis, yes. All right, PHK, also really good. Jonathan, under PHK, as well as Fleesh, Flip for Flap, and Murdy. These guys are pretty good. We've seen them in the past. NASA, my liaison to OFCRA, who gets me set up for every mission. There's the start, so we'll see how these guys deploy in a moment. But NASA leading Rizbo, Wombat, Nubas, Factor of the House, Logic, Ash, and Shay. Rigel leading Lemur, Fury Gamer, Sky Online, Parthius, and Demovar. Pogo underscore, different from the Pogo and TSB. I always have to mention that. Leading Kalias, Bernard, Roland, Shadow, Barros, and Ezio. Mozambique here leading Gaiden, Ivno, Deco Taston, and T90M Destroyed. That's a reference for the fact that one of the first T90Ms that was deployed to Ukraine recently got blown up. Fun fact. And then Skipu leading Giovanni, Urizato, Vexen, Seasgal, and Despo. The reason those went by quicker is because I recognized them. But otherwise, OPFOR rushing a lot of their forces down to the south at start. Are they going to go for a massive counterattack here? Because that's what it looks like. They got to be careful, though, going off-road, because if they hit any of these rocks or these fences at quick speed, they will kill themselves. So they got to be careful about that. But pushing a lot of their forces down south immediately, really relying on Blue 4 to take their time going to the northern objectives. But it's a bit of a rush for both factions to try to get up to the objective areas. By the way, the tribal chief up here, he's probably in this building somewhere. If not, I actually don't know where he is. Or maybe he's in this little hut. Yep, there he is. So if he's killed off, that is worth points. And then the radar station up here, worth a few points if a certain computer is hacked, which I think it's back here. Yep. That's only in the first hour. By the way, OFCRA, I like to say, plays out in 3 different parts for the 90-minute round. You have the first 30 minutes, which is the early game. Early game is usually dedicated to a lot of maneuvering of forces since it's the start time, as well as the deployment of, the defensive factions, defensive lines. The attacking faction starts mobilizing their troops to, make their main attacks. Sometimes you see some skirmishes. If it's a small AO like this one, you'll probably see a lot of action in early game. Just remember there was an 8-minute safe start time. So at the 38-minute mark, we will enter into mid-game. Mid-game is usually where most of the action is in OFCRA. And I want to say 50-50 is the deciding factor for when who the winning side is going to be. If it isn't decided in mid-game, then it's always decided in late game, but usually that the difference is if the winner's decided in mid. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That man flew. We all saw that, right? That man literally flew. Oh man, that guy flew. Well, where was I? If it's decided mid-game, usually late game is very slow. But if it's not decided mid-game, then late game gets very, very hectic. But late game are also the times where you see some really crazy things happen, where people are desperate to finish the operation. But otherwise, looking at the strategy here, OPFOR is doing a really, I don't mean to name call, but if anyone's watched my FNF games, you would know I sometimes rag on one of their commanders named Pierce because he picks really, really weird strategies sometimes. And OPFOR sent a majority of their forces down south, away from their defensive areas, to do what? I have no idea. They've set up a blocking position, though. Is that because their vehicle got hit, or? Yeah, it's because their vehicle got hit. There's some bandaging going around as well. So they had to repair themselves and whatnot. They have some downed wheels right here. But yeah, no. So they're convoying around back here. For what reason, I don't know, but I hate to call Pierce out, but this feels like a Pierce play. Where I really don't understand what's going on. I think what they're going to do is divert all these forces around and then attack Blue 4 on their rear as they're pushing into these two objectives, thereby catching Blue 4 while they're maneuvering. It's just that these guys are going to have to spend a lot of time in that maneuver. The only other thing I can think of is they're setting up a blocking position, thinking Blue 4 is going to come around the southern side of the airfield and attack from the rear, which I get, but is that worth betting 50% of your forces on? No. No, it is not. Definitely not. Yeah, my render distance was actually over the maximum, so I adjusted that because it was getting a little framey. But, I mean, that was max render distance, so these guys can actually see for miles out here, which makes sense because they've got crow systems set up. But I guess it also makes sense because Blue 4 has a lot of crow systems, so you don't want to put too many people on defensive positions because then they'll just get picked off. But I don't know. At the same time, it's a really weird choice because you could stash a lot of OPFOR guys in these roaming hills back here, setting up some good defensive positions, and then dynamically pull units back. You could also set up some really good ambushes along here. But OPFOR is instead really relying on throwing a lot of forces on the outside. There's no map border, so they can literally use the entire map to maneuver around. I just don't really get what's going on here. Now you've got this one vehicle here coming around. You know, I think I know why we saw those crow systems shooting like that. It's because all of the ones that were shooting... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That was a launcher sound. And that was an impact sound somewhere close by. I don't know what they were trying to lock on there, but... Okay. They might move that MTLB in panic right now. They're moving it into a fortified position. They've also dug a fortification around here, really weakening themselves on the north. But I do like these little cute fortifications that they've dug here, utilizing crater textures and whatnot. That's really cool. I might have to steal them for some ops, you know? So long-range AT starting to go out, but I think some of these Vics... the ones that had the gun firing on them, for example, I think they were basically unscripted. So if I check a lot of these vehicles, yeah, we're going to see the crow system missing. So the one that wasn't shooting, because how they do it in OFCRA is they have the vehicles spawn in, but they're not enterable. They disable the simulation. So I'm willing to bet that gun pod shooting was just it with its simulation disabled to then be taken off when simulation got re-enabled. So that only means they have one of those crow systems on that Vic. But even then, a single crow system utilized effectively in PvP is literally a mobile 50 cal sniper rifle with perfect zeroing because you just hit a button on your keyboard and it zeroes the gun for you. And it can be ranged usually up to like a click and a half accurately. So it's a very, very powerful weapon, which explains why OPFOR have that BRDM with the missile launcher. So usually it has 5 rounds to fire, and then a reload, and then 5 more rounds, and that's it. I don't think they have resupply on top of that, but that's 10 ATGMs, anti-tank guided missiles. So that should be fine. It's just I'm really worried that OPFOR is really stretching themselves here. Blue 4 riding the edge of the map here. Which, I'm going to be honest, like, to me, that isn't really gamey. If they were going like a kilometer out that way and then around, then it's a little gamey. But I've seen it done in FNF and OFCRA, so I don't consider it. The only time I consider it gamey is when they do use it to, like, bypass a river objective. Like, sometimes a river will cut off at the debug corner and then get blown up. So that you can just drive around it. Usually they ban something like that anyway, but we just had another missile come in over here. These guys aren't really paying it much attention. I think the missiles are landing short. I'm not sure if they're bombarding these positions up here, which again, really cool fortified positions here. I'm gonna have to look into how they made these, but we have another missile being launched. I really don't understand.
Ah, là, il panique. Ah, là, il panique, là. Il y en a un qui est coma, je crois.
I think it's these guys looking at him.
Si j'arrive à tuer quelqu'un, c'est... Oh non,
This guy have a bayonet
Non,
attached to
ils
his
arrivent à la 4.
FAMAS. That's dope.
Ah ouais,
Retire.
vous pouvez le vider en fait.
Recharge.
Il me reste 50 ou ouais.
Yeah, so they're definitely doing recon here if we were to look at Nanard's
Exactement au même endroit, dans la
perspective.
tranchée.
I'm pretty sure these guys are French, FAWR.
Elle est un peu plus à gauche la tranchée.
Ouais, c'est ça. Oh non, au même endroit, il y a un mec qui vient observer là.
Yeah, they see
Retire.
movement up there.
C'est porté mon cacahuète.
Ah! Oh. Wait a minute! Wait a minute!
Ah, trop court. Allez, t'en retires une et après on bouge.
What was that missile path?
Si t'es toujours essoufflé, t'attends avant de retirer. Hein.
What was that missile path? What the fuck was that? What? Did you see how wonky that damn thing was?
Delta.
So they're using this thing, which I believe with this, the EWR whatever, but it seems to only have an effective range of 1 kilometer before the guidance on it just craps out. But that is so funny that it just started like flying around in random directions. So I get what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to snipe with this, but I'm gonna look at it from Ethan's POV. But that was pretty damn funny. I think they've used 3 or 4 missiles already. But let's look at the OFCRA force. What?
I can see the...
What are they doing all the way over here? And then you have people walking. Did the motorcycle get hit? Yeah, they broke the wheels.
En un camino donde hay cuatro caminos más, ¿sabes?
Aquí dices.
Vamos, cuando nos crucemos ahí
I
está.
thought they were like gonna flank around, but no, they're going super south. What? There's nothing to the south though. As these guys are gonna walk it now because they screwed the motorcycle up, but what? Oh. Oh, that was the BRDM. Just missed a missile. This Vic's trying to bait him out. Ooh, so that BRDM, if I recall correctly, stationed up on the radar station. And so you can see movement up there. He just got the pods out again because he's intentionally hiding them to lower its profile. He's looking around. Callie's gunning. He's pretty good with it. Oh. That was an RPG fired very short. Yeah, at least half the distance he needed to actually get it, but I think past 750 meters, the RPG warheads detonate automatically, so he's trying to make like a kilometer, almost a 2-kilometer shot.
Hab eine Explosion auf 290. Ich glaube...
They are calling Blue 4 out here.
Wie?
I can only imagine they're going to have these guys push north and attack them as they maneuver, but I have no idea why they're this far out. Maybe they're thinking Blue 4 is going to come around and they'd, like, catch them. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Any hits as of now, but we're working on that. Give me a minute.
So you got Bluck back at the airfield here.
Hey, from Wilco, out.
Some English being spoken. We got these forces coming around. So here's the RPG gunner. Who shot that? Benares. Yeah, not even close. But it looks like they've been passing around some of the RPK mags for AKs to use on the drum. And we had another round just hit there. Not sure if that was by their guided AT launchers or another RPG launch from a different group. But now you're having the BRDM trail around. We're about halfway through early game here. First 15 minutes have gone by. Actually, it's in 1 more minute, but yeah, just a rough deployment here of Blue 4. Op 4 has a lot of forces up in Gorkin. But this is really confusing. I do like Blue 4. They've got some rear guard here to stop any Op 4 guys from charging around. They've got a southern blocking position as well. And they're allowing for these forces to focus on the front line. But I don't know, guys. It's an interesting strat here. I think for now we just have to watch the maneuvering here. We need to see when Op4 decides to have these forces come around, because they're eventually going to have to come back in the AO. There's no reason for them not to be over there unless they're planning to do a flanking action. But Blue 4, we need to start seeing a slow advance with their forces. And some cover from some of their vehicle assets that have, scoped machine guns in the Crow system. Blue 4 really needs to focus on locking down that BRDM as well. That is their biggest threat right now. And that's why they have that guided AT. But that guided AT has shown that it has a very limited range. So we'll just have to see how things go. So yeah, sometimes when you have an early game like this, you just have it a little bit slow. Op4, again, we've got one of the Dishka cars over here. It has to be a large flanking force. Like, that's the only reason for these guys to be all the way out here. They have someone up here just to spot. But they put the PSO scope on the RPK. That's cute.
I'm gonna run him over. Like I did. Hello.
How's it going?
We almost ran you over.
We kind of crashed, so.
Oh, I wasn't expecting it at all. Like I was going.
I was like flying, so I cannot stop do anything. So it's straight into a rock.
Oh yeah.
When you're driving over hills on this map, you do get some pretty big air. So if you're going too fast, then you might crash right into something.
Jest okej, nieważne. Widzicie kanał grupy? O splitting off?
Who the fuck killed me?
Aha, czyli przejeżdżamy koło tego fobu, co kiedyś się graliśmy na tym. Znane mi miejsce.
So Pogo underscore has died. Because we're starting to see some shots coming in from across the way. I'm not sure what killed him specifically. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself on TeamSpeak real quick. So when people die, you can hear them. But I have no idea what got the kill. But that was the BRDM getting shot at by some form of long range operate. Yep, okay, so that is the Crow system 50 cal. Which is the only thing that would be able to get that penetration on the BRDM. Though at this range, you can see the muzzle velocity starting to lower into the green range, which means it's reduced, and it does a little less damage. The damage being going from like a large velocity wound to a medium velocity wound, but it's still 50 cal, and even at green, if that hits you in the head, you will die. So blue, you're seeing it ricochet up. It's hitting people up here. What they might be seeing. I'm also loving that the sandbags are getting knocked over like that. Yeah, I think that's the BRDM just knocking them over. They could try to get the BRDM out with AT to then launch an AT missile at that Vic because, you know, on Op4 side, if they're able to knock out that Crow system, that's going to make it a lot easier for Op4 to defend. They still have other vehicles to deal with, but in terms of vehicle threats to the BRDM, that Crow system 50 cal I think is the only threat other than the holographic-sighted attack buggy with the 240 up front. Hold up. Okay, that's more MG fire coming in. I think they're trying to hit Benares here. Literally, a shot just went over his head. Benaris, my guy. I'm impressed. That looked like it yeah, these are looking like they ricochet into him, but he's not actually taking any damage. Oh my god. Yeah, no, he at least got hit once, but that was up here, and that was just him bleeding on the floor. I thought a few of those ricochets would have hit him, but I guess not. More 50 cal fire coming in. Looks like they're trying to hit the BRDM that's slightly poking out here. Not sure if the BRDM is going to respond, though. But even then, 50 cal hitting the front right here. I mean, that's just armor. It's not going to do anything. It's part of the hull. I don't know how much ammo that vehicle has as well, but let's quickly look at the rest of this. We have multiple people down. So it looks like there was a vehicle crash because everyone loaded back up and they were eliminated. That is very unfortunate. Always got to have spacing, because when you have over 100 players on a server, desync can strike at any time. Just as the server's trying to handle that many players, but that is a big chunk of that OFCRA force that was coming around. And then you also have, all the way over here, Roland. I think he just got picked off by the 50 cal there. So he got knocked out. But that's very unfortunate for OFCRA, dedicating so much to this flank around attack and then losing quite a few guys to it. But they've actually been on the road for a little while here, already coming around on the back. But now it's the question of, do they have the sufficient numbers to deal with that threat? I think that was also the 50 cal car that went up. So they just don't, they might not have what they need to properly engage this area. We still have about 8.5 minutes left of early game, so this is definitely going to be a mid-game fight. But OFCRA's attack here seems really scattered at this point because of what they lost. We might see a few of them get respawned, though, because that was definitely a debug thing. But no, the Vic that blew up definitely was the Dishka, so that is quite unfortunate. We have some guys down here just scattered. Again, one of the motorcycles got destroyed, so 2 of them have been on foot. Possibly in radio contact, though, with other groups. So normally radio contact doesn't start to break down until the first few firefights have happened. Then it's usually like every man for himself at this point. Looks like a holographic scope got added to this sit-down 50 cal. And he's just looking up here trying to spot targets at this point. Otherwise, the rest of Blue 4 prone behind that hill. Now, you got to be careful about hills at long ranges in Arma 3, because at long ranges, the hills don't fully render properly. And what ends up happening is you're able to spot people behind those hills, and it can get quite messy. Otherwise, you got a marksman here shooting. You have that crow system still firing. I'm trying to see if the gunner has... He does have a registered kill. So I'm wondering if that was indeed Pogo who he picked off. Because oh. How did you cook off a medical box? What? How did you cook off a box with medical supplies? Okay. I don't know how you did that one, but all right. Yeah, let's go with that. All right, medic here. Yeah, he's got the medic sign on the back, so he's going to be working on trying to get Roland back up. Roland will probably be brought back up. Still have some more long-range 50 cal firing up into this building, just, I guess, harassing the players, or just not rendered for them properly, and they think that they can actually have some decent shots on them, which is something you always got to be careful about. Let's go ahead and look at Had's POV. He's got the really good position on it, so just the guns poking up to not overexpose the vehicle so it doesn't get engaged by the BRDM. It's a good play to make. Meanwhile, we still have OPFOR coming around. You do have Beta over here just running back on foot. He might not be in radio range, though, but we have Zicky coming around. I think he's going to go pick Beta up to get him in the attack car here, but if Oppo are able to snipe Zicky and take this car, that would be huge in terms of letting Oppo gain another asset here. No, he puts that Vic back instead. I think he saw that vehicle's movement. Yeah, I think Beta just realized that was an enemy Vic. He quickly pulls his gun out. I'm not sure if Op4 spotted him there. Yeah, they spotted something. And... yeah. Yeah, that happened. So what was Beta doing all the way down there? I don't know. But this is why you don't go alone in Durkistan, or I guess in Mozambique in these days, because, yeah, the irregulars can just do a nice dismount drive-by on you. But again, I don't know what he was doing down there on his own. And he knew that was a bad vehicle, so he went prone and tried to hide. But, dude, you were standing up. Like, they saw you, man. They totally saw you. So I think Zicky's pulled back here. He's now on the gun. And he's looking around at this point. He might have a good vision on them, though. It's just, can he get the angle? He's looking in that direction. So there might be a like this hill might be in the way. There's also a small hill right here. So I think he's going to wait for him to come up a little bit because you can see the car right there. Yeah, RPK is looking in that direction. I don't know. I'd personally have an E-Clan on a FN Mag over a PSO site any day. Heard more AT fire. Where's that going? It's probably going to be short again. That hit all the way down here. And the NSV all the way over here as well. That's a weird call. Otherwise, Op4 looks like they've got some guys trickling up this direction. The rest have deployed on that left flank. And now you got Zicky firing here. Maflo coming up. He's only got a red dot, though, so he's not going to really get much in terms of marksmanship. But you got Op4 returning fire with those AKs and an SVD, but this is going to be at an incredibly long range here. Shots are going back and forth. Zicky's gotten back in the car here, probably to let that box reload as he comes around. Yep, so hatch on the top is now open. We'll see him start opening up again. So he's doing his best, but actually his shots are landing really accurately here. Just Ash has some really good cover to work against that. I mean, this is literally almost a kilometer in terms of engagement range. At least 800 meters. So you got Whiskey now driving up this Vic with 6 guys. I think they're going to try to get on a flanking position here. What I'm worried about, though, is you got Blue 4 Foxtrot being retasked because they were expecting a rear attack. And now they're starting to reposition their forces accordingly. So Whiskey might do a dismount right here. This is going to be our first bit of CQC. Now I just have to watch this. Blue 4 might be caught out in the open here, but Op4 is not focusing on that. They might spot him. They spotted him. Oh, Vex! Vex just, I mean, that wasn't Vex's fault. That was the guy in front of him or running in front of him like that, but, ooh. That's why you gotta make sure you're careful where you are when the shooting starts. Seagull has been knocked out. Vex, he's a really good player for PvP, by the way. He can turn this around, but he has to be given the room to maneuver, especially with an RPK. But that's not a good start. They got Micah's trying to come around, but he is then picked off by Giovanni because they've gotten on the second story here. They're getting good overwatch of these open areas. You got Vex firing. He just knocked somebody out right there, trying to get some redemption there, but there goes Madi. Micah says, welcome back up. He's gotten into low ground now, but with a lot of smoke in the way. What Blue 4 needs to do is maneuver left, start getting into these fortified areas to come around on the right. Vex pulling back because a grenade was thrown. This group's in a little bit of trouble for Op4, but Blue 4 is not doing the right thing with maneuvering. We also see some Blue 4 guys now turning over to face Op4, but Op4 might be outnumbered here, but they got the better positions. As I say that, Skipu, I don't know why you went up there in the open and just stared around, but he gets his just desserts for that one. Vex in here being really aggressive. He's going to go for this 3-story. That's going to be a nice building to utilize, but he's got to be careful about being flanked. But if he can use that 3rd-story window, he's going to get some really great eyes around as Settler comes up. There's Micahs, I think, pulling up. He helped get that kill. Now you're seeing these forces push up respectively. All right, there's Vex capitalizing on that window. First bit of shooting, he knocks out Kuwait, gets some double taps in him, gets the kill. Now he should be at 0. Settler's looking up at that window, he knows. I think the 240 would actually, or excuse me, the FN Mag. Oh, that's a grenade though. Hurt Settler a bit, tries to get a grenade in that window. But I think that FN Mag could penetrate the clay walls of that building, at least do a little bit of damage. Now you're seeing Blue 4 also firing up in that building. I mean, Kratz also has a wire guided ATGM. He could just, you know, destroy that building. But he got Blue 4. I don't know whose shots those were. Yeah, a little bit of blue on blue here. They're confused at where Op4 specifically is. Yeah, Vex hears their footsteps. He's going to camp this story. But yeah, Op4's attack there is kind of flustered. The rest of Op4 is coming up on the south, and then you got these guys. You still have these guys all the way back here, for example. 4 of them completely out of position with no transport, and then the rest have been moving up on foot. And then you still have a little bit of a stagnated fight here as people are picking off from long ranges just to harass each other. Settler gets blown away by Vex because Settler decided to try to one-on-one a defensive position, and Vex was listening to those footsteps and waiting. Now you got Kratz coming in. I'm going to be honest, if Vex gets a freaking ATGM launcher, he's going to have a beautiful shot on Zicky's Vic over here to take that out. He might also get the transport Vic. But Vex is one of the guys you don't want to fight one-on-one and just keep sending people one-on-one to engage. So we still have Rizzato and Giovanni coming around. Giovanni is up actually, no, I think he only knocked down Micahs. But you got some more long-range shooting on the rear, trying to just look at everything else. But I think Blue 4, at least with this rear guard coming around, they'll be fine. We have this Vic coming around. Op4's driving forces along that road. Who's going to dismount first? Because Op4 is probably going to see this Vic drive down to the low ground, do an immediate dismount. Yep, Op4, a Blue 4 does a dismount. Op4 just might blow on by, in all honesty, and that's exactly what they do. Only to drive into a single Blue 4 guy, Beta, Wait, Beta died. Didn't he die? I guess that was the other... I thought we saw... whatever. Because he's also alone right here. The rest of them are all up there. So did he just, like, take a reason? Did he slot back in and take a new slot? Oh, man. That's funny. I don't think you're supposed to do that, though. Vex now engaging Kratz here. He's bandaging himself. Gets a decent grenade throw, but Kratz runs back down the stairs. He's completely clearing that building. You got, Urziog, I think, shooting at Montana from all the way back there. And I can't tell if Blue Force still blue on bluing their guys, or if they're... Oh, they might be shooting through this window, trying to hit Vex. Val just got knocked out. You got OpForce still dismounted right here. Beta coming around in the back. Bandaging at an open angle. And immediately starts taking fire, but OpForce is not able to lower their bullets enough. I think they're shooting at him. Yeah, they're just shooting way too high. I think the default zeroing of the AK is like 330 meters or something. I sometimes make that mistake too, where I'm shooting way above with an AK, which is why I don't necessarily like to use it. So they're going to push him again. I think Nubass just spotted him. But I mean, OpFor, they have all these scopes. They should be able to get him. Oh, come on. Nubass, come on. He's bandaging. There's the shot. Yep. Couldn't land the kill. Another hit goes on him, and he's down. Okay. He's down. So if someone else named Beta comes in... He's got two... So, another interesting thing. Pogo underscore has one grave. Beta has two. Kuwait and Settler also have one. Adamek has one. So he literally relogged, took another slot, and then... died again. Oh, that's funny. So I think Vex was taken out, probably by the Farce marksman here, but you got Urziato getting 2 kills here as Blue 4 now tries to make sure that building is completely clear. I'd imagine Vexen's body's going to be on the top floor. No, did he try running down? Yep, he did, and he got taken out right here. Got some more Blue 4 shots coming in. They're still suppressing that building. Then you have Giovanni coming around. I thought I just heard his character speak CSAT, Farsi. I say CSAT because that's the default tone of voice for CSAT AI. And since they're OpFor based, I'd assume they used vanilla kits to build the... or vanilla characters to build the kits on top of, because that's how I do it. And that's how I think most places do it. Because vanilla, you know, you can't go wrong compared to modded. Alright, Ricky Sev pushing guns up here. This is going to be another bit of CQC. Nubass throwing a grenade to make sure that the characters up there are down. That's going to cause Blue 4 to slow down. Nubass. Not sure if you saw that movement. I think OpFor just put a shot by Nubass at Ricky there. Wombat still not realizing they're in danger. Nubass immediately takes fire, pulls away. Wombat also able to get away. We see a grenade thrown. A lot of hits done here. I don't know what that clicking is. I think that's They might have T-FAR radio intercept coefficient on or something. Keel's going off. If that starts up again, I'll disable my T-FAR plugin, and that should fix it. Still that Crow system putting pressure on the radar station. So at 1 hour and 8 minutes, those 2 points for the radar station's computer will either go to Blue 4 or Op 4. Blue 4 have lost a man here. His AT-4 getting launched. I want to see if might be a bit of a counterattack here, but from range, we see some of these rounds coming in. I'm going to quickly disable because I heard the clicking again. 1 second. All right, cool. Hopefully that'll fix it. If not, then I have no idea what it is. Yeah, I guess that's just the sound of the tracers then. That's really weird. You know, them going by. You got Op4, Alex getting hit in the flank here because Ash came around with a really good position. He's got a drum mag too, so he can put a lot of fire down. Blue 4 did not notice. Nubash trying to get on the high ground here. They're unable to. If Ash can get back up there, he's going to get some great flanking shots here, but he has to position himself. Oh, here it comes. You can see him right there. Wow, that was a VOG, I think a P round to get the bounce. That was a great bounce on him. Literally had it dead right in front of him. Next round goes over. Yeah, he's going way over. Another, I think that was a grenade throw. Right on top of Kutri and Alex. Trick Track getting hit by a grenade as well. Ash now trying to stop. These guys flanking around. Ash, unfortunately, taken out by Red Crow there. And a great FAMAS spray. He's only cut down by Nues, and now we only have Kariko, who is also knocked out by Nues. So we need to see double taps on these 4 players to ensure that they stay down. But that was a great play by Op4 to take them out. Now you got Blue 4 coming up with a few guys as well. In this Vic, there's only a gun crew in there, though. We'll see if any of these guys wake back up. You're seeing some more shots. Oh, I think he's shooting at his AT-4 that's just hopping around at this point. I'd imagine that Vic's going to be incredibly cautious. It's still staying at a decent range here. One of the 4 bled out. What a beautiful firefight. Double taps, double taps, double taps. So Nubass on 3 kills because of those double taps there. Karikona, only one still up, but he got hit twice in the head, so he's not coming back. Blue 4 dismounting another squad here, but these guys, we got Ilvanek, Brewer, TK Llama, Joda. The only one I don't recognize is Mafo. I mean, Fury and Zicky with Zicky on that gun. This is one of the best groups with an OFCRA of infantry that I can think of. Now, granted, a lot of these Op 4 guys have scopes, so it might be really tough. NASA picked up the FN mag. He's gotten a kill with that marksman rifle as well. Whereas Blue 4, I think, are going to be mostly on irons and red dots. So if Op 4 can utilize their range, then they might have a good chance here, but it's going to be tough. Meanwhile, back in this other district, we have Yuri and Giovanni linking up together, still maneuvering around. That Blue 4 group that was on their flank harassing them has now pushed south, and now we're starting to see some gunshots here. They immediately knock out Wombat. Skylined himself a little too much. That Vic covering them is going to really make the difference here. Looks like they're getting some double taps, or at least trying to on Wombat. Che pulling Wombat back. NASA trying to come around and figure out where that Vic is. He's got to be careful, though, because he is immediately going to start taking fire by that Mini-Me. Gets hit twice. Op 4 might be in a little bit of trouble here. We still have Fact of the House logic here, but I think he's AFK. Otherwise, he'd be in a decent position to overwatch these guys to cover them from this flank attack. So you got some general suppression going out by Ziki to give cover fire for Blue 4 to move up and do this flank, but Op4, they've got a guy down, so they're pretty invested right here. And I'm going to be honest, some of these guys are good players, but some of these guys on this side are a little better, in my opinion, based off of what I've seen in the past, but it could be anyone's game. GL's going way over here. Op4 now desperately trying to push. We're seeing some more smoke grenades being popped here as they're going to try to get away, but Blue 4 might have an angle on them on the road because that's not where the smokes go. Brewer trying to find an opening in that smoke as well. There you got Op4's movement. Brewer immediately starts firing, gets a kill. As I expected. Put some more shots on him, I think, to potentially try to double tap. Nubas carrying Wombat back. Back to the house, still AFK. NASA needs to pop another smoke grenade, or someone needs to pop another smoke grenade here so they can carry these guys back, get to their vehicle, and drive away. But Blue 4, based off of where they're flanking, might get on this hill and find that vehicle to also find Fact of the House Logic AFK and take him out. More shots going on Nubas here, as it looks like they are instead going to opt to try to go on foot. Might be able to get into contact with that car to pick him up instead, but they might be on different nets, so it might not work out. NASA going to aggressively push, but that is a bolt action DMR, if I recall properly. Yep, there's the bolt right there. So he is going to be heavily outgunned here as we're starting to see black smoke grenades being popped here instead. And is he going to grab that AT4? Yep, but the car is firing. Maybe he might try to get on the rock and put an AT4 round in that Vic last second. NASA taking more shots from that smoke as Ilbanek was able just to see him off the corner of the smoke. I mean, if Facts came back right now and came up this hill and got some great flanking shots on these guys, that is all they need at this point. AT4 being prepped. For what reason? Ah, the engine's on. I could faintly hear it, and I'm like, is that just my headset bugging out, or is that something else? But no, so, that engine's on. Ilbanek heard it, now he's trying to look around to find where it is. Not realizing that they just ejected from the Vic. Instead, Nubas has dropped his body here. Wombat, his hands are up, so he looks a little obvious here. Nubas versus Brewer. Brewer with a mini-me. I'm so sorry, Nubas. We just had a round coming over here. I think these guys were trying to fire an RPG at the rear, but that got detonated. NASA looking around. That AT poking over. He puts a marksman round out on Mafo. Forces him to pull back. Wombat's woken back up. Nubas now firing at TK Llama. Hits TK Llama. Nubas is forced to pull back. Brewer now firing down. Gets NASA. Nubas trying to go aggressive. Mafo is aggressively pushing the flank here in the open, but Op4 is not going to cover it. Wombat going to bandage. Nubas switching to his AT4. He's going to go for a noob tube. Looks like they ditched the idea of that car. Mafo, I think, is going to get on the flank and take both of these guys out. Brewer's folded back defensively. I'm going to be honest, when you're in an active firefight, you shouldn't pull an AT4 out. You should just go for the kills, because if a Vic comes up, you're kind of SOL either way. Mafo doesn't want to commit to the push. Nubas might get an angle here to flank, but he's coming up with the AT4. Immediately, I think, got spotted by TK Llama. Brewer pre-firing. TK Llama gets hit. Nubas taken out. I think Brewer got the kill on Wombat there. That's where his firing left. And then Mafo, Brewer, and Ilbanek all shot down Nubas there. In fact, the house is still AFK right here. It's, man. So yeah, these two guys now coming back on foot, but at this point, they're a little out of position. Op4 looks like they folded all their infantry up so they can form defensive lines. We have about 11 minutes before the radar station objective closes, but these positions have not maneuvered at all. Instead, Blue 4, I think, has been committing their forces to be vanguard for Op4's attack, so that's just going to force Blue 4 to then push in, as Op4 has been waiting around for all this time. So TK Llama got knocked out. Ilbanek might be able to get him back, but Joda here is the medic, so he'll have to work on him. But I mean, just look at all the bodies around. That's what it looks like when, you know, one squad gets engaged and the other squad that it was engaging it gets engaged, and it's just a domino effect. I'm waiting to see if Fact comes back, because that would be hilarious. So I want to see if Beta comes back, because he... Again, I don't think you're supposed to do that, but whatever. What are they firing? What? Is he trying to make lead rain? Because I think he's completely overranged that area, because he's literally having his shots land all the way back here. So much so that they're disrendering from my view, the tracer script. That or they're just completely de-rendering outright. And we got more shots coming in, but they're landing short. And then we have some other shots also landing short. So a lot of misranging going on as they're firing at literally anything that moves at this point. I don't know how much ammo is left in that Crow system, but they're starting to be a little more aggressive with it. But yeah, I mean, if Blue 4 could just get forces on the hill and start engagements from here, especially with their Crow system or scoped Vix, that is what they'd want to be doing at this point. It's like OPFOR decided to pull away from that position and remount their Vic. And you still have this group of infantry down here. I guess they, yeah, on foot are going to have to go back into friendly territory to reinforce an objective. Weird choices tonight. So you got Delta dismounting all the way down there. If the Vics were closer, which I guess they're keeping them far away because they fear the ATGM on OPFOR's side. But I find this funny that OPFOR, you know, they've got some iron-sighted AKMs and whatnot, and they're still deciding to shoot for it, and they're not landing even close. But this guy gets my "What Are You Doing" award for tonight, because I think, here's what I think's going on. I think he's ranging it. He has it ranged out to about a little above 900 meters, but the shots are going even further than that. I think simply because he has an E-Clan scope for a 5.56, and he's firing a 7.62, and for whatever reason it has more muzzle velocity than 5.56 rifle, so those shots are going way over, because then again, he's ranged for 900 meters, which would be about right here, and his shots are literally landing like back here, which is like 1, 2, like 3 clicks away. So I think just the scope is not meant for that gun, or the vision I'm seeing in his gun is just not what it's supposed to be. Or it could be a mix of that and the fact that he's firing uphill, and everything's just a mess with that sight. Now OPFOR is coming around here. Ooh! Benares pulling that AT out because Blue 4 is slowly pushing with a single... No, they've got people inside. That's 9 people, and the AT missed. And they're still going. Why is FAWR just charging at this point? Where was the support? What was the logic? Oh, right, the logic's AFK over here. Yeah, fact of the house. That's a bad joke, but what was the point of that? Actually, what was the point of that? I'm actually confused here. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. What was the point of that? Like, you could have dismounted earlier and then like pushed up cover to cover, had another group come up with like the crow system or a vehicle come up and start shooting. Why did you all just... I don't know. I don't know. That was interesting. Well, at least they dug a little trench for themselves, but... Oh, no, 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 no. Robert, wait, did he actually get someone? We have 18 now hitting. Robert, what are you doing? Who did you kill? He wasn't down here, so who did Robert kill to get the -1? Pogo was already dead. Vexen was dead. Did he kill Royd? More AT. Hey, that's smart. Wait a second. Did that just get taller? And now there's a little... Huh. Okay. I'm confused. Blue 4 also charged up over here, and Op 4 is now engaging them. That was a gun car that was taken out. These guys were pushing up over here. Ah, so that was Zicky's car. So I assume Zicky's dead at this point. Yep, died in the Vic. Was able to dismount and then got picked off. Op 4 had a small blocking position there. And now Blue 4, I think, is just trying to trickle everything in, but at various angles here, and they're getting their butts kicked. Brewer doing his best. He's on 4 kills right now. Hey, he got 2 over here. TK Llama is going to try to low ground. Might run into Demovar here. Or he might look up and get Parthius. Parthius is a good player, though. But he is very exposed on that rock. Llama doesn't want to commit, but he's going to spot the edge of Parthius if he's able to push a little more to the right. Llama is just unwilling to commit here. Oh, wait for it. Spots Demovar. Parthius now looks down. Mafo trying to come up here. Brewer putting some shots up. Might have been on Rigel. There's another body right here. Is Brewer on 5? Nope, still on 4. So was that Mafo that got it? He is up a kill. But no, we got Op4. Some rounds landing into them. You know, if I wasn't cross-eyed right now, I'd say Kropa was trying to... Huh. Huh. You know, friendly fire isn't. It isn't. They're still shooting through the smoke. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah, that range they can't PID, so they're just shooting at their friendlies, thinking they're part of the squad right there that caused that ambush. All right, looking up north here. Hold on, we have another Blue 4 rush that came up. And now they're throwing grenades in here trying to detonate everything. This has just turned into random Blue 4 units rushing up into Op 4 objectives here. They have a minute and a half to get the hack, which I think they're actually getting. Radar activated, well done. I don't mean to sound like a smartass, but I don't think there's a radar left to activate. But okay, yeah. Yeah, the radar got activated, guys. I think by the end of this mission, there's not going to be really much of a radar left. But, you know, it's all good. It's all good. Ay, ay, ay. So Blue 4 rushed in and got the objective, but it's costing them everything because now you have Benares here coming around and cleaning house. But thankfully Lolo, who is Blue 4 ground command, was able to rush in here and get those 2 points. Literally within a minute of that objective getting locked out. So now I guess he's going to rely on the rest of Blue 4 to come up and take the radar position. Because all they have to do is take the radar position and then they can just hold it till the end of the game and be up 3 points to... or 5 points to 3 points, because OFCRA will keep the tribal leader alive. That's only going to work if Blue 4 can get their foot in the door. And Lolo just had his head blown out. So it looks like the 2 OFCRA guys that were down here are done. There's the objectives done. So radar operational has been taken by Blue 4. Yep, so there's one OFCRA body, there's the other. So Blue 4 able to get those kills. Was it TK Llama? He did get one of the kills. Did Brewer get the other? Yep, he's up to 5. So it was TK Llama and Brewer, they got those remaining 2. But now Blue 4 is essentially going to storm this objective, and they're in the worst possible spot to do it because now they're going to be picked off from range. They learned nothing from that other push of literally all these dead Blue 4, and they're pushing up the same direction. So you got the Crow system here firing on the flank here. He's on 6 kills, which is to be expected from a freaking Crow system. So they just picked off the MTLB gunner in here, or they dismounted it, or the bodies just aren't showing. But now that Crow system needs to turn a little more left and take out these guys. Murdy just took a sideways chest shot. That motorcycle just lost its front wheel. And now that MTLB is firing over at this Vic, looks like it turned its gunner in. Why is the Crow system driving all the way? Why would you do that? No, use that from range. Literally, use it from range. It is designed to be used from range. Oh, why would you waste such a beautiful asset like that? Literally, you were up to 6 kills because you were shooting at people from range. Why would you push up to an enemy position unsupported? Did you think that that strike team was able to take that entire position by themselves? I mean, it makes sense because ground command's dead, so maybe him not speaking means he was successful in his objective and he needs our backup in a fortified position that the Crow system wouldn't be able to even get into. So you're going to start having Blue 4 trickle into this objective. There's still a sizable amount of OP4 here. And there's still some OP4 back here that might tie these Blue 4 guys down to the south. These are some really good players, as I've been saying. And then OP4 looks like they found a Blue 4 Vic to drive. That's Giovanni down there. So yeah, it's just, I think numbers-wise, Blue 4 still have that advantage, but it's quickly getting whittled down. You're having more fire coming in down here on this OP4 position as they start taking more casualties. But with this flanking position now suppressed, this is going to allow for more Blue 4 to start attacking this one position. As I say that, we have the point man, Lucas, getting knocked out. We got a full squad in Hotel coming up. The question is, does OP4 have enough to hold this position? And they're all in the back line here, which is going to allow for Blue 4 to get up here. As I say that, we have Benares on 5 kills and a vehicle kill. He's probably about to get flanked by an entire squad. Literally, oh, yeah, and he finds the squad, and then he gets shot to shit. Okay, well, yeah. As to be expected. Hold on. Dennis, spotting some Blue 4 up there, and he's like, that appears to be hostile. Oh, grenade goes off right here. Not sure if that was a GP25 or a bad frag or something fired by a friendly. He doesn't have a GP25 system. They're not close enough to throw grenades, so I don't know what threw that or fired that. Now you got those Op 4 guys firing back there on that remaining Blue 4 group. I mean, the fight is going to be for this one objective. That is the only thing that's really important for points at this moment, because if Blue 4 takes it, that's it. I don't see Op 4 having the ability to counterattack. And they've abandoned this vehicle. It has to be out of missiles then, because there's no reason they would have abandoned it otherwise. So Op 4 doing their best to hold. That second guy got knocked out. Fonter just took a grenade. He gets shot up more and taken out by Nari here on the skyline. MTLB now pulling back in a panic. Kropa and Lesiak coming around. They might try to get behind Blue 4 and hit them with the MTLB, but that's just draining numbers from this position. You got a massive amount of Blue 4 coming up, but maybe this drifting MTLB can make the difference. Except the gun's facing the complete wrong way, and Mr. AT4 is here. Mr. AT4 says that's a bad idea. Now, why don't you dismount so I can see you on fire? Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, that went as well as I expected it to be perfectly honest. So Quebec on that blocking positions, pulling back to the tribal leader. Op 4 just don't have the numbers right now to really do much, and it's because they lost a lot in that counterattack. They lost a lot to them blowing up. And Blue 4 just had spare forces to push up at this point. Now you're seeing double taps. Oh, don't shoot him in the dick to double tap him, sir. Abiet, you may have 2 kills, but don't shoot him in the dick. Bro code, man. Grenades being thrown in. I mean, at this point, if the mission were to finish right now, Blue 4 would win this second objective. So Nari up to 4 kills now. He gets hit. More grenades being thrown because they're misjudging that corner. And then these guys are climbing around the radar position, I guess trying to look from overhead here. More Blue 4 entering this position. Op 4 to the northern side trying to flank, but the shots are landing way short. It's tough to range these shots and then adjust for the elevation. You really do have to guess and check. And they're starting to get closer, but only by so much. What is he firing at? You still have that MTLB cooking off. Meanwhile, down there, you got those Op 4 tied down to that Blue 4. You might see a small Op 4 force come in like 10 minutes later, 15 minutes even, to counterattack if that Blue 4 force is sweep, but this is the fight that's going to determine this. And it is not looking good for Op 4 because Blue 4 just have the numbers, but what do you see up there? Out of curiosity. Like, is it a scare tactic to shoot up, like, over Op 4's head? I don't know. But Op 4's down to 4 guys up on this. Nope, 5 guys. I didn't see because of that smoke grenade symbol. And then a 6th guy is unconscious who's being worked on by Shadow, who I think is a medic because it does have the medical part tag on his bag. Yep. So Op 4 are in a bit of a pickle here. The only reasonable thing they have left to do is charge Op 4 forces up from the Tribal Chief, but that risks any additional Blue 4 forces going for the Tribal Chief. So they're just caught between a rock and a hard place, but maybe some misthrown grenades here will work in Op 4's favor. As we're just seeing a desperate defense at this point. Yep, he's up, so now we're up to 6 Op 4 defenders. And we still haven't... No, we have entered late game. Because we're past the hour and 8 mark, so there's only 24 minutes left in this round. So late game has been where the fighting really picked up. You just... Ah! Wow, okay, so Andre used the teammate falling out of the radar station bait tactic to cause Barrows here to fire at the bait so that he could be drawn out so that Andre could take him out. Oh, what a great play. I don't really know how else to explain that one. It was bait. It was definitely bait. This has been an interesting round. Let's leave it at that. So OFCRA's down to 4 defenders here. Blue 4, I think, is doing a great job climbing over this wall. Oh! Well, that took you a little bit of a hot second there, buddy, but you got him. Devil Hero getting many ass shots there. These 2 guys got knocked out. Now you're just down to 2 OFCRA guys defending here. Woo, and Blue 4 has at least a dozen. So OFCRA will have no choice but to eventually send something to counterattack that radar station, otherwise they risk total defeat. And the next 10, 11 minutes are just left to kind of the ether here. Now, can these 2 push out and kill all these Blue 4 guys in the time limit? Yeah. Is it going to happen? No. 20 minutes left. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you're right, because 18... Wouldn't it be at 108 then? They snuck in an extra 10 minutes. Okay, it's weird. No, it would put it at 38. Okay, I'm just an idiot. Never mind. It is it's a 90-minute round. My bad. So Blue 4 now sweeping the rest of this area. I'd love Devil to just start plinking at stuff, but these guys are prone, so he has no way of seeing them. But yeah, OFCRA just trying to hold the tribal chief as well, but at this point, you gotta cut losses to do strategy here. Blue 4 now suppressing. We just had Who's Who get knocked out here. But I mean, look at the remaining numbers here compared to Blue 4. Which, granted, it's still close, but Blue 4 definitely has that numbers advantage. Got some Blue 4 guys, Special Forces, getting shot at by the defensive group there, because trying to crawl in on those open hills isn't going to work. Ooh. I mean, at least they have the medics so they can keep blood bags flowing on the both of those players. Oh, as I say that, the medic eating dirt to a really well-placed grenade. And now Blue 4 is eventually going to start assaulting that position. Gotta love Nauri's position here, though, on 5 kills now. More suppressive fire going in. And Nakey Man. He spotted the PRDM. Okay, no. So he's just guns up and he's looking around the corners here, just looking for more OPFOR. Did you mean to do that? I don't think he meant to do that. Now he's trying to get back up there. There we go. If he comes back a little bit and looks in, he'll have the perfect angle, but because he fell and then walked forward and climbed up, he lost that angle. Because like right here, you can get a pretty decent spot. You know, I want to see OFCRA with higher numbers, because this friendly fire is getting really interesting. Ah, just the mis-PIDs. Here we go. There we go. Kelby, thank you. That's it. I think that's GG in OFCRA's favor. Because as long as they keep forces here, they'll have 5 points, 2 from securing the radar station laptop before the hour marker, and then 3 additional points for securing this radar station, at least what's left of it. Last 3 points are going to be in the tribal chief, and then, you know, 2 points for supremacy, but I don't think it's going to go that way. So it looks like Blue 4 might have driven away. Yep, there's Maro, TK Lam. They lost Ilbanek and Fury, but they were able to save those guys. All right, so last 16 or 15 and a half minutes. I mean, yeah, it was a good round. What do you guys think? I think the only way if OPFOR... Not even, because OPFOR, they spent literally like a third to half of their forces doing that side-around maneuver, and it looked like it was working for the most part, but then Blue 4 countered it, and since OPFOR already lost like a full squad, they lost the Dishka Vic they were trying to bring around, that attack was already badly hit before the fighting even really started. In the moment, I think both sides made some really good decisions, though. I just find it funny that fact that the House Logic was AFK, but he was like always in a perfect firing position on that squad. And if he came back to his computer at those times, it would have been great for him, but oh well. OFCRA be like that sometimes. Yeah, but now with Blue 4 in this defensive position, this many people in here, Blue 4 just consolidating everything on the radar station. Op 4, they might try a desperate push, but with the high ground, Op 4 only having MTLBs to field, Rizbo firing into the ground like that, I don't see it. I don't see it. It would be funny if there was still ammo in that BRDM and some guy in Blue 4 just got in it and dunked on the MK or MTLBs down that Op 4 had, because one of them was damaged, but the other one's still active. That's the one that's really putting all that suppressive fire up here. That'd be pretty damn funny. Was that body always there? No, that was the guy that climbed up that got shot in the back. He's one of the Op 4s. Okay. My memory ain't that rusty yet. Still, it was a great desperation play by Lolo to push in and get that laptop and then have his forces commit. Granted, the commitments by his forces were super messy. I mean, you can see that, but they eventually got it done, mainly because this force was keeping all of these groups occupied. There was another force back here keeping that previous position suppressed, and another group was coming around here, and they had a rear group coming in that stopped anything from coming on the side. So it was just a matter of numbers. And Op 4 just didn't have enough on the defense because they committed so much to a flank attack that didn't work out. Again, it felt like a Pierce play. I'm sorry to name drop like that, but it felt like a Pierce play. I hope he doesn't get mad that I've come up with that term, but again, it's just all the weird stuff you see in Arma 3 PvP. Now, this will be interesting if Blue 4 decides to get greedy and try to go kill the Tribal Chief, because it looks like they're actually going to try. They've got 13.5 minutes left on the clock. Blue 4's position up here is going to start suppressing. But it looks like they're being ordered to remount their Vix and go for the final objective. Very big risk here, because if they leave too few forces at the radar station, Op 4 could push forces on foot to retake it. But that's only if these forces decide to go, because it looks like they're being really slow about it, but this is enough to actually retake that position if enough forces leave that hilltop. And if they're focusing on suppressing that objective, it's a strange idea, but if Blue 4 is successful and they kill the Tribal Chief, then it won't matter what Op 4 does, because Blue 4 will have too many points at that point, because they gain an additional 3 from the Tribal Chief. So right now the score roster is 3 points Blue 4, or 5 points Blue 4, excuse me. 3 points for controlling the radar station, 2 points for securing that laptop within the hour mark. Technically hour 8 because 8 minutes to safe start. And Smith. You know, in Smith's defense though, I thought I saw the tracer round go through that Minaret tower. So I don't... Did that go through? Chat, did that go through or not? Because it looked like it went through, like there was a gap in that line that went... I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, Op 4's on 3 points because the Tribal Leader's still alive. Blue 4 on those 5 points, as I already explained. But if Blue 4 kills the Tribal Leader, then it's going to be 8 points Blue 4, 0 points Op 4. That's at least going to keep this infantry group pinned so they can't counterattack that objective. Great GLs going on the rooftop here. That's going to make Rozka have to bandage. We've already seen a few bandages put down. He's got some morphine down as well. AT firing up on this hill as well. More AT going into this objective, being utilized as a bit of a shock weapon here. Yeah, it doesn't really look like they're trying to push in, though. This just looks like a bit of harassment here. I thought there was going to be more forces from Hotel coming down, but it doesn't look like that. But we also have Blue 4. They've spotted this Op 4 group coming up, so now they're starting to harass, and that's going to pretty much prevent Op 4 from getting up in 10 minutes to this position. As I say that, we have Hotel starting to mount up. They're going to attack from the southern side. They might be the force to rush in and actually get the kill here. Eight minutes. Or 10 minutes, excuse me. Did they just lose a wheel? They lost both their front wheels. Amazing. Well, that's going to slow them down a bit, but as I'm speaking, we got Mafo pushing up on his own, where the three of these guys are just staying back. Mafo's like, all right, I got this. Don't worry about me. I got, death. I have death. He's death. He's dead. Okay. Okay. Don't worry about it, guys. I got it. I'm sure you do, buddy. I'm sure you do. Well, that happened. I don't really have anything else to say about that one. All right, Hotel is desperately trying to repair. No, they're taking off wheels. Why don't you take off the central wheels then? Oh, whatever. They took off all four of those wheels. Maybe they're gonna run the wheels down, roll them down the hill so the other Blue 4 guys can get them. That'd be so funny if you could roll wheels down hills. I'd make that into a meme op. You are on Bunker Hill and your job is to roll wheels down to run people over before they can get up to you. More AT fired. I don't know what they were going for, but that was way off. Like, completely, I don't... So they took the side wheels to put on the front. I don't know if they're going faster or not, but okay, it's fine. Blue 4 still staying on the northern side, not really pushing in. They're just acting as a pinning force to prevent Op 4 from leaving, which I guess makes sense. 8 minutes remain. That's the HVT they're trying to protect. And his house just blew up. So, here's the head honcho of OFCRA coming over, and he's seen that the HVT is dead. Because Blue 4 just blew up his house. That's brilliant. That's actually brilliant. So... I got nothing to say. I guess this is some advice for the mission maker. Maybe replace the house in the mission in Eden and set it so it has no damage. And then you can set that door. Look, Op 4 is actually just completely abandoning the position now because it's worthless. And then you can set that to invincible or not, like as the doorway, because it's clear that they didn't want anyone to like throw a grenade in and cheese it. And they threw a grenade in and... Or they didn't, they just suppressed it and took it out. But yeah, that wardrobe, if we look at... This is the example of the building. They have the wardrobe back here, and this is the entryway. So if you look at where the door is, they have that wardrobe blocking the doorway because they didn't want anyone to just, you know, throw a grenade and be done. But because it's a map asset, it's eventually going to get destroyed. And yeah. Well, at least Hotel showed up. So some chuckle fuck on a machine gun over here gets the credit for that. And that's brilliant. Honestly, that's brilliant. I just find it funny as a mission dev. It's like, okay, that was overlooked a little bit, but damn. Someone fired a smoke GL up here, and TK Llama doesn't know how to feel about that. Llama, you were still reloading. Don't expose yourself while you're reloading, buddy. What are you... Are you firing GLs, or are you just firing single shots just to screw with them? Because at this point, I'd fire single shots just to screw with them. Again, because they're a skewering force. Ooh. Blue 4 closing on CQC. All right, we have 5 minutes left. At this point, the only way OFCRA can win is they can't. They can only tie by getting the supremacy bonus, and that means they have to knock Blue 4 down to 5 or less players. But if Blue 4 gets their supremacy bonus on OFCRA by knocking OFCRA down to 5 or less players, then Blue 4 have the W here. Are you shooting at Flip? Flip's a teammate, and that grenade is not friendly. That's how teammates in Arma 3 interact with each other. When they say ask how they're doing and their radio communications are cut off, they use grenades instead. True story. I mean, you just saw it. It's totally how it's done. Rizbo. Wow, I'm actually impressed Rizbo got that. Fleesh coming up on that window. Man, just knocked Kilo out as well. And Rizbo's not taking any chances, and he just... So Rizbo just backblasted Fleesh, and the backblast bounced off of Fleesh and knocked Rizbo out. That is why you clear backblast, and then yell rocket, rocket, rocket to indicate you're firing, because otherwise that happens. So Fleesh is now crippled. Rizbo's probably not going to wake up. Cheeseburger's now dragging his dudes back. Murdy just bled out. Amazing. And Blue 4 is confirming the fact that they killed the HVT. Oh. And they're still... just to make sure. All right. What an interesting round this has been. And they're putting more bullets in them just to make sure. Ah. One second. I didn't realize I'd have this many highlights to write down. I'm literally out of space on the sticky note. Oh, God. So Llama here is just bullying them with GL fire. It's like Rizbo got back up. Fleesh, they're both bandaging. Here comes Cheeseburger. As to be expected. Whew. As to be expected. I mean, at this rate, there's 2.5 minutes left. OFCRA has 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 guys up. It does include unconscious people. It might be a 14th there as well. It has to be 5 people that are either up or unconscious, but it has to be deaths. And you're firing at him. You literally all came up here in the same direction, and you are still somehow shooting each other. Okay. Just clarifying. Either way, that's impressive. Zeno here is now coming up with a GL, gets a double kill and a knockout. Might have just got a third. How many kills did you just get with that, dude? Only one? Bro, there was more than one dead dude there. You threw a thermite grenade out, now it's rolling down the hill. I'm telling you, I mean, he's going to pull back, but if he continues to push, we could see Blue 4 just get the supremacy bonus here. There's less than a minute remaining, so I doubt it, but wow. Glorious push there. Did you just shoot the... No, okay, you're shooting above him. Because I have to say, he got knocked out. Please tell me you didn't just snipe him. I've always found when you're leaning left or right, though, those are the hardest shots to make because they somehow screw with your scope. But, yeah, this was a decisive Blue 4 victory. Just the numbers because Op4 made a silly decision at the beginning, which I get where they were going with it. If those Vics hadn't been armored, it might have worked out for them a bit better because they would have had the numbers to continue to push Blue 4's flank. But even then, I think that combination of Blue 4 guys, you know, Zicky's group, would have still more than likely repulsed it. But we'll never know. That's just how this round played out. There you go. 8-0. Near domination bonus as well. 21 players remaining to 8, so 3 players away from that. But what a round. All right. We'll get the payout paid out, guys. But thank you so much for watching. I'm going to do a quick head count here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 highlights out of that. It's been a while since I've gotten 11, but I'll probably cut out maybe 1 or 2. But hope you enjoyed the operation, and I will see you next time.